boy, come up off that neck. We say the trends. CLE be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B. Foster, and today we are doing a featured player of the week. But before we get into that, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers the Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all the podcast aggregators. All you have to do is type in Bleachers the Speakers, FFSN in your search. Make sure you're following us. Make sure that notification bell is on. And so, because when we drop new content, you'll get an alert. Download the episodes. Foster, who are we talking about today?
All right, we're talking about the newest free agent acquisition, David Long Jr. He's a linebacker out of West Virginia University. He's 28 years old, and he was originally drafted in the 6th round by the Tennessee Titans. Early on this year, he was third in PFF and tackles for loss rate. He's known to wreak havoc in the backfield and be a good run stopper. He's able to shock and shed blockers well. But ultimately, he injured his hamstring in the third week and hasn't been the same since. He's looked hesitant and either plays too slow or too fast at times. And he actually had a really good year. Last year, he was highly rated in the run defense category. And going into the preseason, he was actually the preseason captain. So this guy, went from having a really, really strong year last year and being named the captain all the way to a special teams player and ultimately being released by the Miami Dolphins. And a lot of that was due to his struggles in coverage, where he allowed 22 of 23 receptions for 246 yards and 1 touchdown. So he struggled mightily in the coverage category. But going back to 2022, he had 86 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, and 2 interceptions. So early on in his career, he actually thrived pretty well in the coverage category. I just think that he kind of lost himself a little bit when he suffered from some injuries and hasn't been able to recover from it. But ultimately, after that 2022 season in Tennessee, he was rewarded with a 2-year, $11 million contract with the Dolphins. And in that 2023 season, he started in 17 games. He had 113 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, and 1 forced fumble. So he was a force to be reckoned with. 9 tackles for a loss is a lot of tackles to obtain in the backfield. But just to rewind a little bit to when he came out of college, his strengths were he was a smart read and react player with a quick trigger. He had good productivity in all 3 downs. He had the ability to play inside and outside. He was able to play in coverage, and he was also able to get after the quarterback. And even in college, he wreaked a lot of havoc in the backfield. As far as his weaknesses, it's always been his size. He's only 5'11", 227 pounds. So he's more of a characteristic of a strong safety than a linebacker. He also has relatively short arms as well. As far as his other weaknesses, sometimes he can be overly aggressive. He lacks awareness in zone defense, so he plays better moving forward in pursuit as opposed to backpedaling in zone. He often goes for big hits and forgets to wrap as a tackler as well. He was projected to be a round 3 pick and also a future starter. He ultimately did become a future starter, but he did fall to the 6th round. My guess would be because of some of the size limitations. 5'11" at a linebacker. In comparison, you got guys like Alexander Zaloni who is 6'3", 6'4", and 250 pounds. So quite a bit bigger than David Long, but he definitely packs a punch at that linebacker position. He's described as a guy that plays with like his hair is on fire. So that's quite the description. But a good one for a hard-hitting linebacker. As far as his highlights in college, while at West Virginia, he had a game in 2017 where he had 18 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks against Oklahoma, which is quite the game. And in 2018, his final season at West Virginia, he had a game where he had 15 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks. So this was a guy that really could get after the quarterback, as well as wreak havoc in a lot of different areas in college. And I actually realized that in 2018, when he played in the I think it was the Camp Bowl or whatever, they played against my brother at Syracuse. So I had an opportunity to watch him play in a bowl game in Orlando, and didn't even realize at the time who he was, but he definitely had a good game. And says okay, as far as his accolades, I don't know if he ended up going to West Virginia because he said he was. It says he was Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and two-time first team All Big 12. So Big 12 is not in the Big. West Virginia isn't in the Big 12. I don't think. Is it?
I don't know with the realignment of everything. I don't know.
Maybe that should be Big East. Wikipedia mess you up. My bad, y'all.
Hmm.
That's probably Big East. But yeah, two-time first team All Conference and two-time second team All American. So this guy was had some nice accolades out of college, and he's had a nice little um, NFL career as well. And the Lions have been pretty good with some of the reclamation projects that they've had, such as a Charles Harris and a John Kaminsky, who it looked as if their career was almost over. But David Long Jr. is not too far removed from being a highly rated run defender, so he should be able to contribute for us down the stretch and give us some depth in the upcoming weeks. Right now, he's on the practice squad, and then after the game against the Colts, we got a quick turnaround to the Bears on Thanksgiving. So he may need some time to ramp up and get prepared, but I'm ready to see what he can do and how he can contribute to a defense that is getting stronger and stronger by the week. But that is David Long Jr.
Brief disclaimer for our folks that's watching and listening. By no means is this a replacement for Anzalone. I want to also say that David Long Jr. is a good player. We are in a position where we have lost 2 starters at linebacker. So what do? You bring in as much depth as you can. Right now, he's in the practice squad. We don't expect to see anything from him anytime soon, maybe within the next couple of weeks. But he's a good player, and we'll see how it shakes up. He is not your coverage linebacker that we are losing in Anzalone, but he's a very good linebacker. He had 113 tackles last year. So, hey, he can produce, and he's had a great. He's had some very good seasons where he tackled very well. Had some tackles for losses, so we'll take it. For those that are watching, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your leg back. If an nigga you something.